All right, everybody, welcome back to the showcast as we move into our interview portion of the episode. It's been a little while since, we've had an interview, but with the Easter holiday and such, it's to be expected. But we're back, and we're back in a big way. Adam and I are both very excited to speak with this gentleman. We're huge fans of his work, especially the show that he's currently on now, being the hit CW show Arrow. Through his acting, his charity work, he's a fantastic actor, a fantastic person. Please welcome to the program, Mr. Paul Blackthorne. Paul, thanks so much for spending time with us.
That is okay, and I apologize that I just got into my car and you've just heard the beeps and the thud of the doors and all the nonsense. So sorry about that. And now I'm just trying to get you onto my phone rather than my speakerphone. I think you're right. Okay, there we go. That's better.
There we go. Yeah, we're doing well. I mean, you guys are you're out on the West Coast right now, I assume, correct?
I don't know where I am really from 1 minute to the next, but yes, I appear to be on the West Coast just now. So yeah, I'm on the West Coast. Yes, it's all good fun.
I know you guys are, you guys are in your fourth season of Arrow right now. You're heading towards the finish line of this fourth season.
Already renewed for 5.
Already renewed for the 5th season. It's a little bit of a scheduling not conflict, but it's weird scheduling for our listeners that, we're speaking to you before this big episode that's going to be airing this week. Our listeners are going to know what happens before us because they're going to hear this afterwards.
Yes.
So
well, maybe they can tell us what happened.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
Yeah.
Your character, Quentin Lance, I feel like was one, he started out as a bit of a hard ass, and he still kind of is, but he's grown to become such a big fan favorite because I know I love Quentin myself. And a big part of that, I think, has to do with the family dynamic almost, with Laurel, played by Katie Cassidy, as well as the fact that now he's part of the team. He's part of, Team Arrow, knowing who everybody is. What's it been like working with Katie and the rest of the cast in this capacity?
Well, it's so easy to come out with all this sort of gushing, sentimental slop about how, fabulous everybody is. But how fabulous everybody is, it really is true. And it's almost boring to say, I can't, it'd be more interesting if someone was a bit of a pain or this or that. But to be honest, I think that's one of the secrets of the show is that there's such respect and professionalism and friendship, between, the cast members and everybody around them in terms of writers. It's just a great working relationship that goes on, And it's a weird thing, this whole thing. You could put a guitar player, a bass player, a drummer, and a singer together, and it could be a pile of nonsense. So you could do that. It could be the Beatles, and that chemistry that creates that sort of unknown quantity, which just suddenly somehow makes something good. It's hard to pin down what exactly that is, and we're lucky in that with Arrow there is some sort of chemistry that exists, and everything comes together, and everything just seems to work off each other. It's quite a blessing to be a part of that situation.
Yeah.
And it definitely comes across too. But I mean, a couple of years ago, even beyond just the on-screen people, a couple of years ago we talked to we had James Bamford on the podcast, the stunt and fight coordinator, and he obviously does a great job with the fights and stunts, especially. I mean, that's kind of the bread and butter of Arrow. That's what it basically was built on. And now he's even... Well, go ahead.
Yeah. No, and now he's even directing? Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, right? He kind of personifies the whole of what Arrow is about because, it's a comic book show. There's stunts, there's action, and people tune into that. But what obviously that's all rooted in is great character development and great story. And it's funny, the reason why I say Bam sort of personifies that is because now that he was a stunt guy for a couple of seasons there, and he did a great job of doing that. Mm-hmm. Now he's directed a couple of episodes, and he directed another scene on Legends that I was involved in the other day. He has got such a touch when it comes to the human side of it as well, the character side of it, the story side of it. That's what I mean. He kind of personifies the whole thing that Arrow is. It's not just an appreciation of wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, look at those fantastic stunts. You can sense the humanity in there as well. And Bam is brilliant with that stuff. I said to him the other day, he's given me some of the best notes I've heard on season 4 from an acting point of view. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's really tuned in with the story and with the characters, and that's kind of what Arrow's all about, you know. It doesn't forget story and character and conflict and neurosis and everybody just trying to do the best they can with the knowledge they've got and generally messing it up completely. But that's what human beings do, isn't it? You know, and then we try and pick up the pieces and start again and do it probably next time. And that's next week's episode.
And with the stunts, I mean, I'm sure there's obviously stunt actors and everything, but you know, it's still physically demanding on I'm sure your part. Did you when you came into the show, were you already pretty in shape, or did the show kind of force you to stay in shape?
Well, I mean, I don't really have a lot of stunt stuff. There's a big truck that's about to drive by my car with all the windows open now. Hello, Mr. Truck. I've got walls being built in my house at the moment, so it'd be even worse if I was actually in my house. So that's why I'm out here. Yeah, I mean, stunt stuff. You know, Lance, I've been thrown around a few times, you know, by those sort of Mirakuru people and a bit of this and a bit of that. But generally, you know, stunts are a big part of my character's setup. So I tend to sort of get away with that. The only reason I go down the gym and work out is because I've got herniated discs in my lower back, and if I don't, you know, keep myself fit, then my back goes bent out of shape. So that's the only. That's actually my motivation for keeping fit.
That's good motivation, though.
Yeah, don't listen to these surgeons when they tell you got to go off and do surgery. Just keep yourself fit. That's what you have to do.
Well, I think you're like quietly fit because you're always wearing a suit on the show, so nobody can really tell.
I did manage to get into a T-shirt the other day. Caused a bit of a stir. Oh, you know, Lance in a T-shirt. What the hell's going on? This show has changed. So, yeah, that was my big stirring moment.
I know you're no stranger to, you know, pop culture kind of projects. You know, you're working on Arrow now. You worked on 24, Deadwood, the Dresden Files, which I know I've had a lot of fans who are huge fans of what, you know, the Dresden Files when it was on. Do you are you a fan of this kind of genre work, or do you just like to be an actor in general? Doesn't matter what it is.
Well, I like a good script. I mean, let's face it, you know, I mean, I did a Bollywood film years ago, which is what propelled me towards Los Angeles and Hollywood and all that stuff. And, you know, whether it's a Hindi film or an indie film or sci-fi or comic book, at the end of the day, you're just looking for a good script with good story, good characters.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what you lean in. Sorry, I've got someone calling me on the other line now, but I'll ignore it. And that's what you're leaning into in terms of your choices. Yeah, wouldn't that be annoying if I just went off and just took another call for about 5 minutes? That's slightly obnoxious, isn't it? Excuse me, I've just got to get this call. I'll be back in a second. No, won't be long. 10 minutes later. So, yeah, I don't really think about genre, to be honest. I just want to read a script and want to keep turning the pages. And if I keep turning the pages, it's a good script. And if I'm really thinking hard about the character as a result afterwards, I know it's a good character.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and kind of before, one thing I want to mention, at least leave time for and talk about was the wildlife conservation shirts you've had put out, and I love them. I love the poach eggs. They're just so, number one, they're catchy. One was poach eggs, not elephants. The other was keep rhinos horny. And it's funny, but it's also a great way to bring exposure to the issue at hand that I think a lot of people, especially here in Western culture, don't realize. How did you kind of become involved with the wildlife conservation?
Well, you know, I was trawling through National Geographic magazines, you know, when I was 11 years old. My bedroom was covered in maps on the walls and the ceiling. I used to just stare at maps and read through all these, you know, Nat Geo magazines and all the animals and wildlife and far-flung places and all that stuff. So I have just an inherent love for wild, beautiful creatures, you know, majestic, you know, it's just so beautiful. And then, you know, when you hear of this slaughter that's been going on in the last 5, 6, 7 years and the rate of that is happening, it's truly shocking. I mean, there's, 100 elephants a day being poached, you know, literally, I'm sorry to be graphic about it, but, you know, they're having hand grenades thrown at them, being gunned down with machine guns, and then whether they're kind of dead or alive, they're having their faces chainsawed off, you know? And that's what's happening. And the same with rhinos. You know, they take a rhino, they disable it with a few bullets, and then just saw its face off, and then it will die in the bush. You know, just bleeding to death. And you know, that's graphic, but it's what's happening. And the current rate of this killing, now these creatures will be extinct in 10 years' time. I mean, that's insane.
That's
crazy. There's hundreds of thousands of these things not so long ago, and we're heading towards a place where, you know, they'll be extinct in 10 years' time. So, and you know, the latest show I'm doing is Save the Rhino Vietnam. We're focusing on Vietnam because 90% of poached rhino horn from South Africa ends up in Vietnam. And, you know, Vietnam's a fabulous, beautiful country, but this aspect of it, you know, clearly we need to have a little look at. And I'm going over there on May the 17th for 2 weeks with Save the Rhino International, and they're the organization they're affiliated with there on the ground called Education Nature Vietnam. And we're going to do a lot of press and TV and schools and universities, interview doctors, scientists, go undercover, buy some rhino horn, try and understand what's going on, why that exists. And we're going to do as much as we can to raise awareness that, you know, guys, you just can't do this. You know what I mean? And because it's got all these myths attached to it of having detoxifying qualities, you know, curing the after effects of cancer, curing hangovers, giving virility. But rhino horn is made of the same thing as your fingernails, keratin. And clearly, it doesn't take much of a scientist to work out that fingernails aren't really going to do too much good to you in any of those regards. So that's what we want to go over there and sort of talk about. It's also become a big status symbol over there because, you know, rhino horn is so expensive, and it's almost just the fact that you're seen with something expensive suggests that you're doing well. Do you know what I mean? Financially.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that aspect that's going on. And really, you know, as opposed to sort of going in there and pointing fingers and judging people and criticizing, we're really just going to go in there and say, hey, guys, you're getting conned. Don't do this, you know. We're trying to help you and help your friends as well that are getting conned with this stuff, because none of these medicinal qualities exist. So we're actually going in to try and help people getting conned. That's the approach we're taking, because that is what's happening. So, you know, that's what we're going to do for 2 weeks, and then after that I'll go to Kenya and hang out with some rhinos, and you know, and then do some more work. We're filming a lot of it. CW are getting behind the whole thing. They're going to be doing a little short film of it when we get back. And
oh, that's great.
Yeah, and we're getting a lot of celebs involved. And one of my football heroes, Aaron Ramsey, the Arsenal football player, he's closely associated with the whole project as well. And we're going to get different celebs to sign a T-shirt and then say to their own fan base that they've got a chance to win the signed T-shirt by them if they buy a T-shirt, you know, one of the T-shirts in general. And if you buy a T-shirt, your name gets thrown into the hat to win the one signed by that celebrity, you know.
Oh,
so we're going to do a bunch of things along those lines and try and create a bit of a stir with it. And then just finally on that, Rob Pryor. Do you know Rob Pryor, the painter, the guy that paints with two hands? He does all the comic book stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was at a convention a few weeks ago, and he came up to me and said, what's all this rhino stuff? And then I said, well, we're just designing the T-shirts at the moment. And we kind of looked at each other, had this big sort of kapow sort of moment. It was like, and he's like, well, I'll paint the T-shirt, I'll paint the design. And he came up with a beautiful image of, you know, Vietnam on one side and the rhino on the other and attached to each other. And it's just a beautiful image he's painted. So we're coming out of that at the end of April. I think April 25th is going to be the release date for all that. So,
and that's on your Facebook page too, right? The picture of it?
Yeah. And you know what? I'm so thankful for the Facebook community. And, you know, with this whole social media thing a couple of years ago, I really wasn't, you know, infusing about it too much. But my mind has been turned, you know, hugely on it because, you know, whether it's the Twitter, the Instagram, or the Facebook, you know, there's a lot of people out there who really want to help with stuff. And it is, when the positive sides of it are happening, it's so positive. And the Facebook guy, you know, someone on Facebook that came up with poached eggs, not elephants. I said to the guys, we're going to do this elephant thing. Anybody got any good ideas for some, you know, lines for the T-shirt? And someone came up with that, you know. And then the first charity I was working with, Air Shepherd, still am working with, but the money we raised from those T-shirts went to Air Shepherd in South Africa. Someone came up with that suggestion through the Facebook page. So I love the Facebook community. Do you know what I mean? The one that I get to enjoy being with. So I'm really thankful for those guys. They're really, really supportive.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, you can tell because, I mean, well, you also do some of like the live broadcasting, which is cool. Helps you interact with the fans too. And I mean, doing, you know, with the whole, rhinos and anything like that. Once something becomes part of another area's culture, it's hard to work out. So it's a big project. So I think it's really awesome that you got involved with it and that everybody else is getting involved, including, like you said, the CW. And I just want to make sure we mention the websites, savetherhino.org and envietnam.org. Is that?
Yeah, Save the Rhino International is the organization that I'm going out there with, and they have their affiliate on the ground, Education Nature Vietnam, is the company that is the organization that the charity is setting up all the infrastructure for when I get there. And a lot of this information is all on my Facebook page as well. The Facebook stuff, I love all the Arrow stuff and the behind the scenes photos, and we have a lot of fun with all that. But then, of course, it's great, as I said, to pop all this information out there with. So you can see a lot of it on my Facebook page for sure.
And is there another shirt sale coming up?
Yeah, that's what we're going to be. It's going to be the Rob Pryor painted shirt, the Save the Rhino Vietnam. That, I think we're settling on April the 25th, right after we wrap.
Okay. We'll keep an eye out.
3 weeks prior to my trip. Yeah,
we'll share it on our pages as well.
That would be great. That would be fantastic. Hey, and if you guys want to have a T-shirt that you can sign, and then you can tell your fan base, hey, anybody that buys a T-shirt on the link gets a chance to win one signed by you. If you want to do that, that'd be great.
Hey, we can do that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll send you guys a T-shirt.
Oh, fantastic. I know you have places to be and things like that, but before we let you go, I do have to mention This American Journey is fantastic. I know that was a documentary that you had done a couple years ago. You directed as well. And I just have to say I absolutely love that documentary.
Do you know what, mate? To hear you say that really, that really stirs me because I spent 5 years making that film. And it got a humble release. But I have been in screenings of that film where people hit the roof at the end of that, at the end of the movie. They just can't help themselves. They feel so much. They just feel good at the end of it because there's so many positive things about the human race that are affirmed by the amazing people that we interviewed as we traveled across America. We did that in 2008 when the country had just crashed. And it was amazing what people were talking about in terms of what we learned from a moment like that, because obviously that crash was very much born out of the pursuit of the American dream and the idea that, a big house, a big car, lots of money makes you happy. And all you have to do is find the nearest person with a big house and a big car and lots of money and ask him if he's happy. And the chances are he's probably going to say no.
Yeah.
So, there's living proof all around us. So that is not the thing that makes us happy. So many people in that film, really dwelled upon what it is that does make us happy, and it's funny to bring that up actually because I just had a chat with the distribution company today, and we're in agreement that I'm gonna, because of we have another presidential election coming up with certain characters involved that may be dwelling on divisiveness and fear quite heavily in their approach to their campaign. And we all felt it rather timely that we at least put this film on a free platform at some stage in the lead up to that election, and people can really see what the true qualities of good Americans are, and what it is that really makes us happy and the way to spend our life. So yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up. Thank you. It was a lovely project, and those people were amazing to interview.
Yeah, I mean it's a very eclectic group of characters that you speak to. Everybody has different opinions.
Eclectic is the word.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But I mean, you're right. The documentary shows that the country, while in dire straits, sometimes the country still does have a heart, and that's pretty much the message that's behind it. And I absolutely loved it. So I had to mention that before we let you go.
I really appreciate it. And one of the themes of that film also, is very much that people have more in common than we have different, and that's what we need to dwell upon, because we're actually all in this together, and we're all trying to do the best we can. You know what I mean? Make the place a better world, a better place to live in, and yet, a lot of people try and split people constantly for their own political purposes, and that's not actually what's going on. We've got more in common than we have different, and you see that demonstrated so hugely in that film that it's beautiful to behold.
Yeah, exactly. I know as of right now, it's available on Amazon for rent and for purchase. So anybody, until you make it available, are you aiming for something like kind of like Netflix? If
No, you
possible.
see, we did all that. It was on Hulu for a while. It was on
Okay.
Hulu until about 6 months ago. But now I want to just put it on YouTube, basically.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
it may or may not be YouTube, but that's what we're aiming for. I just want to get it out there on a free platform. You know,
Yeah.
it was never about making $1 million. It was about, you know, getting the word out there that, you know, this is the heart of America, and it's worth considering because it's good. And you know, like I said, with the current political climate, it's another timely moment for it. So yeah, it'll be on a free platform, but I'll talk about that on my Facebook page, I'm sure, when that moment comes.
All right, great. Yeah, because I definitely highly recommend it.
Thank you, appreciate that.
So, Paul, on Facebook, I know also, like, we've been talking about your Facebook page, so make sure you follow Paul on Facebook. But you mentioned your upcoming film for, I think it's coming out in September, Daisy Winters. Is there anything that you can, I don't know how much you have to keep under wraps right now, but is there anything you can tell us about it?
Yeah, well, I'll be working with my old TV colleague Brooke Shields. She's part of the film. There's some other wonderful members of the cast as well. And I'm shooting down in Georgia in May. And yeah, I had to get my bum on a motorbike and learn how to ride a motorbike. I've had an old motorbike and a sidecar at the bottom of my drive for the last 4 years, and I've been looking at it going, must learn to ride a motorbike. Must learn to ride a motorbike. And then, of course, as is the way with actors, as soon as you have to do it for work, you know, 10 minutes later, you're learning to ride a motorbike. So, yeah, I'm having much fun with that, actually. It's amazing, isn't it, being on a proper motorbike? It's actually, you know, really quite pleasant. So,
That's a goal.
yeah, doing that.
That's a goal of mine as well.
Yeah, it's a little awkward
Yeah,
at first, but you get used to it.
it
It's
is.
kind of cool.
Yeah, it is a little awkward at first, but get yourself a good teacher. And yeah, so I'll be doing that. There's a couple of episodes of Legends of Tomorrow that Lance popped up in, which is all, yeah, that's all good stuff. It's great fun doing all these crossovers and whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And then then we break. And I'll be doing a lot of publicity stuff for the Save the Right of Vietnam T-shirt, and then I'll shoot the film down in Georgia over a couple of weeks, and then off to Vietnam after that, and then a bit of Kenya. And by the way, the only reason I'm really doing all this good, wholesome, charitable stuff is that so I could justify sitting in the pub for 3 weeks, drinking beer and watching football for the European Championship. That's the only reason I'm doing this, just to appease the guilt that's going to come in June when I start to go, come on, England! You know, my 12th pint of beer in a pub somewhere in the English countryside. So, you know, don't take this, you know, this is the real reason for it all at all.
As long as your priorities are in order.
Yeah, exactly. Do something good so I don't feel too bad about doing something bad. There we go.
Exactly.
There's my hiatus.
That's the next T-shirt. That's the next shirt.
Exactly. Exactly. And then before you know it, we'll be back doing Arrow season 5 in July. You know.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. And I just want to say as well, you know, to all you guys that support the show and all the fans that watch it, you know, no show is really gets talked about if there's no fans. You're not on the air without the fans. So, you know, we're always very grateful for you guys to, you know, for the support and watching it. And, you know, I hope we all continue to entertain you for a long time to come.
Yeah. Hopefully we get to see you out here. I know, you know, Steven's bringing Heroes and Villains back out to New Jersey in July. So, you know, hopefully we get to see you out here at a con someday. I know you do the con circuits now. So
yeah, these con things pop up. They're a lot of fun. I'm just looking at the New York, New Jersey one at the moment. I'm just working out my schedule and seeing if I can fit that in because, as you've just heard, it's a bit of a hectic few months coming up. So yeah. Fingers crossed, but we'll keep you posted, of course.
Well, if you're out there, I'll be meeting you because I'd love to meet you in person one day.
Oh, definitely. Swing by. It'd be good. We'll have a pint.
So, well, I mean, we won't hold you up any longer, but obviously we want to tell everybody to check out, you know, your Facebook page. Just search for, you know, Paul Blackthorne on Facebook, at Paul Blackthorne on Twitter. Of course, check out SaveTheRhino.org and ENVietnam.org for all more information on the T-shirt campaigns and such as well. And, of course, watch Arrow on the CWs every Wednesday night.
Yep, so. And now that you guys are hearing us talking after you've seen the episode, I hope that wasn't too shocking for you.
But Paul, thanks again for spending some time with us. This was a blast.
Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate your support and everything. It's nice to chat with you guys. And introduce yourself and swing by if we're around with one of the conventions.
Oh yeah, definitely will. Everybody
All right.
stick around, and we'll be back with more Showcast right after this break.